Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining today for our Music Therapy Spotlight. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to our virtual advocacy week. We're so excited to spend the whole week talking to professors, music therapy students, music therapists all over the country, and also some of our very own who have just so much to share as far as the music that they do and other things that they've been doing in life so far. So today, we're so excited to welcome Harym, who has her own YouTube channel, music, book, literally everything. We joke that there's so many slash artists slash musician slash writer slash influencer.
Everything.
Yeah, so do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing?
Well, hi, I'm Harym. I'm 24. I'm doing just about everything right now. It feels like I can never catch a break. Cause so much is going on now. But I do music full time. I'm actually in school for music right now with a specialty in guitar. But other than that, I mean, I'm a session musician. I'm a writer. Recently, I could add to that an author, which is crazy. um, but yeah, I do just about everything and more than a 24-year-old should be doing.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so exciting to see all the awesome things that you're doing online and offline, and just how much you're doing just to advocate and to show others, like to make a difference, especially with the book that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
So I'd like to start today talking a little bit about music therapy.
Yeah.
The first thing I kind of want to touch on is, what does music therapy mean to you?
I think music therapy for me, doing traditional outpatient therapy for 24 years it can get pretty repetitive. So doing this was, and still is kind of a nice breath of fresh air when I need it, because in all honesty, it doesn't feel like therapy. Like, we always joke that like an hour isn't enough worth, which is why we do 2 a week now. Just because we can't fit everything in an hour. But I think I knew from that initial eval that we specifically would be 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah.
And I think we've proven that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a nice breath of fresh air, because I'm doing therapy, but I don't even realize it because it's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably like the best thing about it, because we're not really thinking, and we were actually talking about this the other day, like we're not thinking about like how much better we've seen like some of the movements in your hands, like when you're playing guitar, even over the last month, and we're not even really thinking about that because we're having so much fun just playing guitar, playing piano.
It's just messing around, or, like it doesn't feel like I'm working essentially.
Yeah.
Like I know I am because it's obviously getting better, but during the session it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so fun to do, like you said, and like fun to participate in.
Yeah, because I don't zone out as much as I do during my typical OT sessions.
Yeah. So what do you like to do like in music therapy? What are like your favorite things for everybody watching that aren't familiar?
I mean we've done a lot. We've done everything from guitar to piano, back to guitar to everything under the sun. But I think my favorite part is especially since I do play in an open tuning. I think figuring out our own tabs is really fun, because there aren't many open tuning tabs out there.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to really use that musician background to get us by. And sometimes positions might look a little weird, but hey, they work.
Yeah, like even just like listening to a song and thinking about like, okay, how can we play this in an open tuning that would be comfortable, that would be like still,
And sound right.
yeah, like still a good sound, but still in a way that's comfortable.
Yeah, because as you know, I'm not one to sacrifice any of that. Um,
Yeah,
you've been very aware of that since day one.
yeah, it's true.
I'm not one to sacrifice
Yeah.
anything. Cause I mean, I used to do one note so much that people thought I was a bass player for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, no. I play guitar. Like, I don't play bass. Like,
Yeah.
no. Get it right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's the most fun part of it. And I mean, just getting to know you in general has been so fun because we've gotten to like, or at least attempt to adapt equipment. Like right now, we're in the process of adapting a cable.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to do without you guys. So that's been really fun too, trying to get more of my gear more accessible to me to be able to use alone instead
Yeah.
of having to rely on someone. Um,
Yeah.
so that's been fun too.
Yeah.
Um, getting in touch with not only you but everyone else on the team, trying to
Yeah.
figure things out.
Brainstorming and planning and
And I mean,
building things and
obviously we can't wait till we can do it in person.
yeah.
Me getting improved when I did was kind of bad timing for that, but hopefully we can get to that soon.
Yeah.
Cause I,
That's gonna be so fun to actually be able
yeah,
to do stuff. For those of you who
hang out.
we have been really affected, by COVID-19, especially in this area. So all of our sessions,
Yeah.
for the most part here, for everybody, have been telehealth. Mm-hmm.
So we're used to it at this point, but we're itching to
Yeah.
get to in-person stuff because I personally don't think I'm gonna let you leave. Um,
Yeah.
um because, because I mean, especially being so musically inclined myself, like having someone that gets all my guitar jokes now is just nice.
Yeah, it's totally fun. Would
Yeah,
you?
we had fun. We
Yeah.
had fun.
Oh, for sure.
Too much.
Also maybe tell us a little bit about how you found out about music therapy. I always
Yeah,
like to see because music therapy is kind of like something you don't really see as much, especially in our
yeah,
area. And so I always like to know how you found out about it.
yeah. Actually, I am in a Medicaid waiver program. Sorry, my service dog is going crazy over here.
It's because he knows we're going to talk about his book.
Yeah, he knows.
Waiting
He
for
knows.
his book.
Um, he's waiting for his spotlight. Say hi, buddy. Uh, but yeah, I'm in the Medicaid waiver program, and we'll tell you quiet. And so during one of my annual visits, my caseworker was because obviously I never stop talking about music. Like I never stop. It is my life. It's what I'm planning to do for a living. It's my work. So I never stop talking. Like it doesn't never end. My my poor family has to deal with it 24/7. But so when people come over, like that's my main conversation. And during that visit, she's like, "Hey, I just thought of something." She's like, "Have you ever thought about music therapy?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah. Have you ever thought about it?" I'm like, "I didn't even know that was a thing."
Yeah.
But yeah, get me in touch because this needs to happen.
Sign me up.
And I mean, sure enough, I mean, meeting you for the first time, I was a little skeptical at first that it would kind of be like kid like, you know?
Yeah, I remember
And
you
you
mentioning that.
you've heard that story many times, but I was a little skeptical at first, but upon meeting you, like, I knew we were practically the same human. Because I mean, I remember that eval lasted about 2 hours
Yeah.
just because we could not stop talking.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to finally have someone that understood all my lingo and
Yeah. You always tell me like there's another geek around.
yeah,
A nerd,
yeah,
another
because I mean,
nerd.
especially down here, like,
Yeah.
not that music isn't common down here, but it's
Hmm.
super hard to find like a genuine musician down here. Like, it's really hard. Like,
Yeah.
like when I tell people I'm majoring in music, they're like, "What? Like, what are you gonna do with that?" I'm like, "You can do so much with that." I'm like,
Yeah, you
and,
can.
and I mean, we've even talked about it. Who knows that I might end up doing this in the future? I'm like, who
Mhm.
knows?
Yeah, there's
Like,
it's so wide open with music.
yeah, like we talked about it so much. Like, and I think it'd be good for me to go into something like this because
Yeah.
I do have the advantage of living a life the way others in my situation do. So
Yeah.
I think I'd have more knowledge to give as far as the adapted side of it
Hmm.
because I feel like not even an able-bodied music therapist knows really what to do at some point. Like I, for one, have guided you a little bit and
Hmm.
been like, hey, why don't we try that too? You know?
Yeah, and I think that's really important too for other music therapists who are watching, or maybe music therapy students to kind of understand that like we have so much to learn from you too, and so much that you can teach us that might help other people that we work with in the future, or just to know and
Yeah,
understand what works best and what doesn't, and everybody's
yeah.
so different.
Like for example, us with guitar, we've done so many versions of classic chords.
Yeah.
Like I think we have 5 inversions for each chord now. Um, so we could pick and choose from our arsenal, but yeah, I mean that's kind of how I found out and how it led me to you, which is crazy now to think about.
Yeah, and it's so exciting. Like it's definitely something so exciting for us to be able to collaborate with you in videos like this and on our YouTube channel. For those of you watching, we have a video out there too where we get to talk about playing a little more in depth
Yeah,
about open tuning and having the opportunity to play. That's been really awesome.
yeah, that was fun to do. We just got to geek out for an hour, which was so fun. I
Yeah,
mean, we did that anyway, but
yeah. So the next question I want to ask for everybody is how do you think music makes a difference in your life? Not just, in music therapy, but just in general. How has it really changed your life?
well, well, I think music in general kind of gave me the ability to have people forget I'm in a trip.
Mm.
Because when I play, I mean, you've heard my throat.
Yeah.
When I play, people tend to forget I'm in a chair,
Mm.
or they don't even know I'm in a chair until they see a video, and so I feel like the label isn't there. The
Mhm.
label of, oh, she's disabled, so she can't do that, is not there because they hear the music first.
Mhm.
And
Beautiful.
for example, with me, like so many of my friends have told me this in the past, like hearing me speak, they wouldn't think that comes out of me. I'm
Yeah.
like, but once they see me play on FaceTime or something, they're like, whoa, like that really is a thing. I'm like, and I've always said this, but like my disability disappears when I'm playing. I'm a completely different person when I'm playing, and I think you can attest to that. I'm a completely different human. Um, the spasticity is gone, everything else is gone. I feel quote unquote normal while I'm playing. Like, like it's just nice to not have the label when I do music.
That's amazing. And I believe that too. And I see it too when you play. And even like how the recordings that you've showed me that you've done, like some of the session stuff, and it's just really cool to hear that. And I think it's also inspiring for other people to see. And I know one of the things we talked about in our other video that we did was about how many people told you no, or how many people told you that you wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
Kind of go from that to like being where you are now, and starting to get more recognition too for playing guitar and being a musician. I'm sure it's just really awesome to see.
Yeah, and I mean, I got told no more times than I can tell you. I was always told, no, you're too spastic. Your fingers won't do what you want them to do. Don't even try. And I was like, no. I'm like, there has to be a way for me to do what I love.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a way. And even now that I'm in school, like, my piano professor, for one, is like, are you sure you're in a chair? Like, are you positive? because, because I mean, sadly, there's such a stigma that
Mm-hmm.
people in chairs can't do fine motor movements and can't, for example, hold down a piano chord for a sustained period of time. There's sadly that stigma around disability that we
Mm-hmm.
can't or we shouldn't. And I think
Yeah.
one of my biggest goals with what I do is to break down that barrier,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I'm proof that we can, and if we want to, we will.
Yeah.
And I mean, for a while too, it took my parents some time to accept that and really see that, because when I first was thinking about going to school, I obviously was going to choose something in that realm for major. And my mom, for example, she's like, well, what are you going to do with that down here? I'm like, the thing is, it doesn't matter where we're located, especially nowadays. Like, that doesn't really matter. Like, right now, I'm working with a musician out of California.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on a track together right now, and that's the proof that just because I live where I live doesn't mean I can't do what I love.
Mm-hmm. Especially like you said, in this day and age with technology, and now with the pandemic, I think we've all just gotten so much more comfortable doing things virtually and
Yeah,
online. It does really open a lot of opportunities musically as well.
yeah. And I mean, just in life too, like, majority of my friends aren't even near me. Like, we rely on FaceTime and stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, not that people down here aren't accepting, but I feel it's a lot harder to make friends when the chair isn't.
Mm.
Because either they think I can't speak or that I speak very minimally. I'm like, if you want to just sit down and talk to me, I can talk to you. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if people would have just listened to us, they would realize that we're so much more than what we're sitting in.
Yeah. And I think and I think that's why we're so grateful to have you sharing, especially in this advocacy week where our whole week is really just about advocating for everybody and advocating for music and the potential that it brings, exactly how you describe. And so hopefully if there's somebody watching that is thinking, man, that sounds a lot like what I've been wanting to do, I encourage you
Do
to
it.
reach out to her. Do it on
Yeah.
message her on Instagram. The links are there, and if you
Yeah. Well,
need some more info or some suggestions or just some encouragement, I think
yeah.
we're all happy to do that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've had so many people reach out to me, especially recently with what I've been working on, because I'm working on an EP
Hmm.
as well. And I've had so many people reach out to me, like, hey, I've wanted to do that for years, but never thought I could. And all it took was one person to say yes. And I tell him this all the time, but he doesn't know how much he changed my life. Because that one yes opened so many doors for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was told no for 6 years. And by that point in my life, I was kind of just done. Like I was convinced I was gonna go into business or something, but I decided to give it one more shot.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I finally got my yes, and here I am today.
Yeah, and I know those adapted lessons that you said like were so hard to find in our area
Oh yeah,
specifically, and just even in general, they were very hard to find.
yeah, like
There wasn't a lot of people willing to or
yeah,
know how with the expertise to know how to do that.
yeah, like for example, locally, like I tried, I tried contacting Guitar Center. They told me no. Obviously, I tried contacting private instructors. Again, no. Um, so I started branching out. I'm like, okay, I'll do stuff online. Like, alright, whatever. Um, and still I was told no. And then towards the end of that journey, I decided to send one final email, and the response I got is, "You're gonna play guitar no matter what. I'll see you next week." And here we are 6 years later. He can't believe how much things have grown for me since we
Yeah.
last did a lesson together. Um, things have been growing a lot since I last saw him. Thankfully, we're still in contact, so he's keeping up with everything we're trying to, because things have been a little crazy for me.
Yeah.
But he knows I'm doing this as well, and he didn't even know that was a thing. So, I mean, he's glad that I'm getting back into it again, because I had just been producing for a while. So, I hadn't really put my hands on a guitar for a while. So, it was nice to get back into it with you.
Yeah. That is so cool. So thank you again just for sharing all of this with us and taking time out of your day to, to speak with us and share your story for everybody watching. We'd like to finish today with something that we didn't really expect to do,
I'm
but
just
we were
tired of it
talking
right now.
about it right before we started recording today, and we thought it would be a really fun way to celebrate and also share something that she's been working on now. Do you
I
want
did something really cool.
yeah, do you want to tell them about your awesome new
Yeah, I released a children's book because I have a little buddy who's asleep right now. I do have a service dog, so I've had him for almost a year now. Next month will be a year, which is ridiculous. Um, but down here especially, right before COVID hit, we had just started like consistently going out, and I saw a lot of education lapse when it came to service animals and service animal etiquette, and I had so many people trying to pet him, and who I call drive-by petters that
That's awesome.
that didn't think I would see them, but sure enough I did.
Yeah.
And I had this one experience that really set all this off. My mom and I were at a store with him, and I would introduce him if he wasn't asleep right now in his usual state. But we had an encounter with the mom who we were walking through an aisle, and I heard her child doing the usual, "Oh, there's a puppy here," and I was getting ready to refuse interaction because I mean that's what we're told to do. But to my delight, I hear the mom educating her child right behind me.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, that's something I've never heard. So I went up to her myself and I was like, I just overheard you and I just wanted to say thank you because I don't get that much.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked something in me because the organization I got him from, they rely on volunteer puppy raisers.
Mm.
And a puppy raiser had written a book on a puppy's journey being raised. But once I read that, I was like, but what happens after? Like, what happens after that dog goes off to college?
Yeah.
And I, I spontaneously wrote this book. It turned out to be way bigger than I thought. We are still trending on Amazon 5 days in. Uh, yeah, it was a labor of love. I think you saw 4 different versions of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I had never done anything like this. Like I said, music has always been my home, so going out of my comfort zone was a little weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird to step out of that and not be doing music for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's out. I still can't believe it's out. And right before filming this, we came up with this genius idea. Well, Marissa did.
You had mentioned too that you were gonna do some virtual readings for some
Yeah,
schools, and I thought, whoa, what a cool way to like do it together. And so I'll
yeah.
be
So,
accompanying her today while she does a reading of her book, which is so fun and gonna be so cool.
yeah,
Never
let's do
thought.
it. Hi, my name is Ortega, and and I wanted and I wanted to tell you why I'm a special boy. See, my mama told me when I was little that I grew up to be someone's special boy. She said that when I grew up, I'd have to learn a lot to help someone who needed me. When I was 8 weeks old, I met my first human mama. She told me that she would take care of me, love me, help me not be afraid of new things, and teach me all the basic skills I needed to know before I went to college to learn more about my special job. My mama told me that one day I would need to help a special person who needed me. She told me that I needed to learn to be a good boy anywhere because my person would would need my help everywhere they went. My raiser told me that when I found my special person, I needed to be a very good boy because I needed to be able to pay attention in case my person needed me. That also meant being calm in a loud movie theater and ignoring yummy food on the ground, which I've been the best at since I was a puppy. Although my, although my mama put a lot of work into my training, she also gave, she also gave me a lot of time to just be a silly puppy and play with my favorite toy, a ball. My mom and I went on many outings to get me used to all the new things I might see and smell when I started my new job. Once I was old enough, I went to college to learn how to pick things up off the ground, turn on and off lights, and other things my person would need help with. Over the next 6 months, I learned how to push automatic door buttons along with many other things that would help my special person live independently. Then the day finally came. I met my very own special person. This is and she's in a cool thing called a wheelchair, which needs, which means she needs my help to make life easier. And she also says she needs lots of kisses. I'm an expert at giving kisses. Over the next 2 weeks, Aaron and I spent every day learning how to learning how to work together. We went to stores and I had to ignore people who tried to pet me. Sorry, mine is being finicky again. We could just cut this little part out. There it is. Uh, I need to, I need to pay attention in case Aaron needs me. Even though dogs like me are cute, it's very important that we're not distracted from my special jobs and people. Even though it might be hard to ignore me at a store, it is it's very important that we're not distracted from our person. Wouldn't it be sad if Aaron needed me and I wasn't paying attention? Aaron needs my help with things she can't do, like turning on and off lights. I can even help Aaron open heavy doors like the fridge because I'm a strong boy. I'm so excited to be Aaron's special boy. My job is so cool, and I get to use what I learned to help Aaron be independent. I love it. She's my forever mommy. And there we go. So that is that.
Mhm. Thank you so much. And I love that picture there at the end. That's so cool. And again, for anybody that saw the reading of that book, if you'd like to purchase a copy for your family or for your teacher and want to read it to your students or keep a copy, in the school library, you can find it on the Amazon link here in the caption. Please go and support it, either the ebook again, and there's also a paperback. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Both, right? Yeah. So
We
feel free to order whatever's most convenient for you. And I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about what he does and how
I
much
don't
of an
need to
awesome
sleep
job
right
he
now.
has. He has the best job.
Yeah, it's kind of off the clock already.
Yeah,
Not really, but you know.
yeah, he's resting down there.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. I know I can speak for me and the team here that we're so excited to have you in the Virtual Advocacy Week. It was awesome to hear your experiences.
No, it was fun just getting to talk because we don't get to do as much.
Yeah.
We're normally working when it's you.
Yeah, thank
All right.
you. And for
All right.
everybody else watching, stay tuned. We have more events coming out throughout the week, more spotlights, more awesome information from professors and music therapists around the country. So stay tuned for those, and hopefully you'll keep watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.